Hi guys, in the last video we solved the coin change problem using the bottom up approach by making use of this table, and we found out the number of solutions for a given sum value t and a given set of coins. Okay, in this video let's actually try to find all the possible solutions, not just the number of solutions but the actual solutions. Let's try to print out all the solutions. Also, let's try to further optimize the bottom up solution that we have already found out. Okay, alright, let's first try to print all the solution subsets. Okay, because once we find out once we fill all the values in the table, now we need to find out what are all the possible solutions. Now when we are finding the solutions after we fill the table in the bottom up approach, we always start with the last cell. Why do we start with the last cell? Because that is the representation of the given problem. Okay, the given problem has a sum of 10. Okay, at that time, in the example that we considered, and it had a set of coins with 4 coins. Okay, 2, 5, 3 and 6. Okay, so we start with the last cell. Okay, what is the last cell? Last cell is of nth row and tth column, and let's send our memory. This will be our recursive function that will print all the solutions, and we start from the last cell. Okay, I and j are the row and column of this current cell that we are looking at. And before we try to find all the solutions, it is highly important that you should have first understood intuitively how we have filled all the values in these cells. Okay, otherwise it will be hard to understand how we can print the solutions. So even if you are a little bit confused, I suggest you first watch and understand it perfectly in the table filling video. Alright, let's start with the last cell. Okay, this the approach that we'll be taking here to print the solutions will be a little bit similar to how we found the solutions in the subset sum problem. Okay, we start by taking a stack, okay, a temporary stack, and every time we are including the coins, we push the coins onto the stack, and when we reach a remaining sum of 0, we print all the elements in this stack. Okay, so let's try to apply the same approach here. Let's take a stack of integers, and every time we include a coin, we push the coin onto the stack. Now here, when we are considering every cell, the two choices that we need to consider are, did we include should we include the current item or should we exclude the current item and move on. Okay, if we can include the current item, then we explore that inclusion choice, and after that we explore the exclusion choice. Okay, both the choices. So here in the current cell, the total sum is 10. Now to get a sum of some value of 10 and considering the coin 6, by including coin 6, can we sum up to value 10 or not? Okay, so we just need to check whether the current cell value is greater than the previous row value. Why we are checking that? Because if the current cell value is greater than the previous row, that means by including the current coin, there are some possibilities. There are some possibilities which we will add it to the previous row, right? Otherwise, if including the current coin was not possible, we would just copy the value from the previous row. So when we were filling the table, what we do is we do 10 minus current item. What is that? 10 minus 6 will be 4, and if we look at the fourth column, there is one possibility, right? So that means we can sum up to value 10 by including 6, and the number of ways in which we can sum up to 10 by including 6 is 1. Okay, so instead of looking at the previous columns again and trying to decipher that, we can directly check this by looking at the previous row, right? If our current value is greater than the previous row, that means we can include the current item, right? We can include the current coin that we are looking at. Okay, so if we can include, that is, if the current value is greater than the previous row, we take the inclusion choice, we push the coin, that is 6, onto our stack. Okay, and we go on solving recursively. Okay, so let's take this approach. In the inclusion approach, we first check if my current cell value is greater than the previous row cell value. Okay, if that is greater, then we know that there are ways in which we can sum up to 10 by including the current item. Okay, so we are exploring that choice. Suppose if my both the previous row and the current row was equal, that means I don't need to check the inclusion path, because anyway there is no possibility by including the current item that can sum up to 10. Anyway, with as we move on to the exclusion choice, it will become clear. Okay, so if our current item is greater than the previous row, what do? We take the inclusion choice and we push the current item onto the stack. What is the current item? The current item is 6 here. So initially our I will be equal to n or 4, and the array item indexing starts from 0. Okay, so we push the array item onto the stack, and once we include the current item, we move to the next cell. Okay, how do we decide what is that next cell? See, when we included 6, what is the remaining sum by let's say to get a sum of 10, first coin that we have included is 6. Okay, now we need to see out of the remaining sum, that is 10 minus 6, that is 4. Out of the remaining sum 4, which coins we can include that will sum up to 4, right? So we'll be moving to the cell corresponding to a sum of 4. Okay, what is that cell? It is, we remain at the same row because we need to be able to include the same coin if needed again and again, right? This is not this is the variation with respect to the subset sum problem, where repetitions are not allowed. Here you can include the same coin multiple times. Okay, so we move to the column corresponding to the reduced sum. What is that reduced sum? It is j minus the array item 10 minus 6. So this is where we explore the next set of choices, and once that choice is taken, we just pop the current item from the stack. This is the recursion choice for including the current item that we are looking at, and the other choice is we need to exclude the current coin that we are looking at and try to see what are the possible ways. Okay, so here when we are at the last cell, when we take that exclusion choice, we need to check by excluding 6, is it possible to sum up to 10 by using the remaining coins. Okay, so we just move to the previous row in the exclusion choice. Okay, since we are excluding the items, there is no need to push anything into the stack. We just move to the previous row when we are excluding. Okay, before we write the base condition, let's just trace what's going on here. Okay, we start with the last cell. Here, since 5 is greater than 4, we take the inclusion choice. Okay, when we take the inclusion choice, we push the current item, that is 6, onto the stack. Okay, and we move on to the next cell. What is that next cell? It corresponds to the previous reduced sum. Okay, j minus the array of I minus 1, that is the j minus current item 10 minus 6. So we come to this cell now. In this cell, we check if our current item is greater than the previous row. No, it's not. So we cannot take the inclusion choice. So we this condition will be false, and we move on to the exclusion choice. Okay, so here since this is equal to the same row, so previous row, we move on to the previous row. Okay, here again we need to check if we can include 3 to sum up to value 4. No, we cannot include 3 because this value is equal to the previous row. So again our recursive function will move on to the exclusion path, and so we move on to the previous row. Okay, here again if you look at the current cell and the previous row value, both are same. So again we take the exclusion choice, move to the previous row. Now since 1 is greater than the previous row value, this means we can actually include the item. Okay, so so this condition will be true, and we include 2 into the stack. Okay, we push 2 into the stack here we are pushing 2 into the stack. Okay, when we push 2 into the stack, we move on to the cell corresponding to reduced sum, that is 4 minus 2, that is this cell. Okay, here again if you look at the previous row, it's greater than the previous row, so this means we can again include 2. Okay, so we take the inclusion choice. Okay, once you include 2, now the reduced sum value is 2 minus 2, that is 0. Okay, now since we have reached the sum value of 0, there are no more items that we can add. Okay, no more coins that can be included. So this forms one of the base condition. So if you look at the stack at this point of time, we have one particular solution. Okay, that will sum up to 10. Okay, so we whenever our sum value reaches 0, we print all the values in the stack. Okay, that is one of the solutions. Okay, let's try to add that base condition. Okay, whenever our sum value, that is j, reaches 0, we need to print the items in the stack. Okay, whatever the coin that was there in the stack, let's print the coin value. Okay, and once we are done with printing, let's just add a new line. And since we are done with that particular path or that particular set of coins, we return from the recursive function. Okay, so we'll be able to check the next possible set of solutions. Here in this example, once we return from here after printing from the stack, we go back to the place to the line after the function is called. Okay, so that is we return to this line from this call. Okay, so once we are done with that path, we pop the last item. So what was the last item in the stack? So our stack will now be popped from the last item will be popped from the stack. Okay, so this is one path. Now here we continue taking the exclusion choice. Okay, since one was greater than 0, we explored the inclusion choice, but for every cell we also need to explore the exclusion choice. Okay, so here to explore that choice, we move on to the previous row. Okay, since this row is 0, that means there are 0 ways of including coins that can sum up to 2. Okay, so if our table, if at all any cell value contains 0, then we can just directly return from that, because anyway there is no other solution to be printed. Okay, so this forms one of the base conditions, right? So if our cell value is 0, that means there is no possibilities that will sum up to the given sum. That's why we just return from there. Okay, so once we return from there, we move on to the next line after the function call. So that means we'll go back, we'll return and we'll go back to the previous cell. What was the previous cell? We came here from here. Okay, this is the previous cell. Here again we pop 2 from the stack. All these set of recursive calls will continue, and we again come back at some point. We come back to the same cell with all the solutions printed which corresponds to including 6. Okay, once that is done, our 6 is popped off from the stack. Okay, so once 6 is popped from the stack, this inclusion path is already taken care of. So we explore the exclusion choice and we move on to the previous row. From here again the similar set of recursive calls will be made, where each solution set will not contain 6. Okay, once we move on to the previous row, we cannot include 6. So from this cell, all those solutions will be printed, which includes only coins 2, 5 and 3. Okay, any of those coins. Okay, so this is how the solutions will be printed. Now if I just execute this, you can see that it will print all the combinations that sum up to 10. Let's try to optimize the bottom-up approach. Okay, here initially when we were initializing all the values with 0, we don't need to again reinitialize with 0. Okay, so let's get rid of that loop and let's get rid of printing the solutions. Let's only concentrate on optimizing the memory space. Okay, here if you look at how we were using the memory space, For filling the values of every cell, we were looking at only two values. One is the value in the previous row and the value of some previous column in the same row corresponding to reduced sum, right? So 10 minus 6 will be 4. Okay, so we were looking at some previous column and just adding this with the value from the previous row. So if you look at this, we were not using any other values. Whenever we are finding, we were only looking at the previous row value and the current row value. Okay, some previous column, but the same row. Using this pattern, you can conclude that you don't actually need an entire table of memory space. You can use just one array of memory, and in that array itself you go on modifying the elements. Okay, there is no need to have a full table of memory space. You can just take one dimensional array, and in that row of memory itself you can go on modifying the values and find the solution. So let's try to apply that approach, and let's get rid of our two-dimensional memory space. Okay, so initially the first element will always be 1. Okay, so in our first row we initialize the first row. All the elements are zeros and the first element is 1, and we are indexing the memory, we are indexing our array by these sum values. Okay, that is values of j. Okay, let's start from this particular cell when I is 1 and j is 1. Okay, okay, when we are in this cell, our coin set contains only coin 2 and the sum value is 1. Okay, now all the write to our memory, that is all the modification will be doing to the first row itself. So here, since 2 is greater than 1, we cannot include 2. So the total number of ways is 0. Moving on to a sum value of 2 by exclusion choice. Okay, when we exclude 2, the number of ways is 0. But when we include 2, since 2 is equal to 2, we can include 2. So we look at the column corresponding to reduced sum. Okay, what is that column? It's 2 minus 2, that is 0. Okay, so it has a value of 1. Okay, we look at the same row but the column corresponding to reduced sum. Okay, so now when we since we can include 2 and since the value is greater than 0, since there was way, by including 2 we modify the current cell. Okay, we modify the current cell and it becomes 1. Similarly, if we consider the sum value of 3, by excluding 2, the number of ways was 0. So in other words, whatever the old value of the current cell, that will correspond to number of ways by excluding the current item. So if we consider inclusion choice, then 3 minus 2 is 1. By including 2, there is no way that we can sum up to 3. Okay, so 0 plus 0 will be 0 itself. Moving on to next cell, sum value of 4. Here, by excluding 2, there are 0 ways. Okay, this is reflected by cell value of 0. And by including 2, what is the total number of ways? 4 minus 2, that is 1. Okay, so we modify the same cell. Okay, we modify this cell by looking at the same row in the reduced sum column. Now here, if we go on continue doing the same thing, we will get the set of values which corresponds to the same set of values in the second row. Okay, but we got the same set of values by modifying the elements in the first row itself. Okay, without using any other row. Similarly, we increment I will be incremented to 2. Now our coin set has both 2 and 5, and we again start by considering the items here. Here also, as we go on modifying the set of elements in the current array, finally we will end up with the set of values which is same as the row that we were getting when we were using the whole table of memory space. Okay, so for example, if I consider this cell, let's consider this cell for I value of 2. Okay, here since the previous value is 0, that means by excluding the current item, there was 0 ways of getting a sum of 5. Okay, so this is the 0 value, and by including 5, that is 5 minus 5, that is remaining sum is 0. We look at the same row but in reduced sum column, there is value of 1. Okay, so we add 1 to this, so the value becomes 1, and we continue with the same thing until all the values are modified accordingly, and we end up with the same set of values that we were getting if we had a table of memory space. Okay, here to figure out the pattern, let's consider this particular cell when I is 2. Okay, we are looking at the last element. So here a value of 1 indicates that by excluding 5, there was one possible way of getting a sum of 10. So this is one possible way. Older value of 1 indicates that by excluding 5, this was the way. Now to check the inclusion condition, what do? We do 10 minus 5, that is 1. We look at the same row, okay, same row but reduced sum column, that is 1. Okay, now because we can include 5, we are modifying the array element and incrementing it to 2. Okay, one older value was 1 plus the new value was 10 minus 5, 1. Okay, so in other words, we are only modifying the array elements, that is, we are only modifying the elements in the memory only when we have a inclusion choice, only when there is one or more way of getting the sum by including the current element. So let's try to apply the same thing in the algorithm here. Our memory is indexed by the sum values now. Since we only have one dimensional memory, we are indexing by the values of sum, okay, the column values or the values of j. Okay, so we can change this to j. And since we only modify the array whenever there is an inclusion choice, we can completely get rid of the exclusion choice. Okay, this was the exclusion choice. We were looking at the previous row, but because we are using only one row, the same row, whatever the value is present, whatever the older value of jth index in the memory, that itself corresponds to exclusion choice. Okay, that itself corresponds to the number of ways by excluding the current item, right? So we only modify the row, we only modify the jth index, or we only modify this particular cell. In other words, we only increment it when we have an inclusion choice. Okay, that means if our sum value, that is 10, is greater than 5, the array element, that means we can include, right? That means we can include 5. Okay, so we only modify in the inclusion choice. Okay, we add solution in the reduced sum column, j minus array element, that is 10 minus 5, that is 5. Notice that we are only using the same row every time, and for every subsequent values of I, we are getting the same set of values as we were getting when we were using a whole table of memory space. So by the time when I is equal to 4, by the time we are done with modifying the array, the last element will contain the final solution. So when we are returning, we return the last element in the memory. Okay, so this will find the number of solutions, okay, which is 5. Okay, this is how we bring down the space complexity to big O of t, okay, where t is the given total sum. Since we are using a row of memory, okay, which has t columns, where space complexity is big O of t. Alright, that's it for this video. Hope you guys found it useful. If you did, please like, share, and don't forget to subscribe. See you guys next time.